Paul, to
Thank
the
you.
Brainz Magazine podcast. It's the start of a new year, 2026. So we'll get into that, I'm sure, before we get into the nitty-gritty of your story and all your wonderful goings on. Your name is Paul Adamson.
Yep,
You're a global keynote speaker.
that's right.
You're into leadership and team alignment.
Yeah.
And you've got your own company, and I'm looking forward to really getting into all things leadership. You've got a real fascinating story, I think. You've experienced a lot, and it's my mission, Paul, to get the best out of you.
Brilliant. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Please drag it out of me,
Oh,
for sure.
As I said, we've just started the new year. I'd love to know, from your perspective, do you have like a word that you would like to associate with 2026? What's the umbrella, the nucleus of what you really want to see in your 2026?
Optimism. Pure optimism, because I think the world just needs more of it. Because, of course, right now in the world we're living in, that there's so much change, right? There's change going on all over the place, both politically, we have the disruption of AI. So in the business world, people are searching for meaning, for purpose. We've got all of this change. And I think people need to make sense of it. And I think the one thing that not enough people are talking about is optimism, meaning actually looking for all the great stuff that's happening right now on the planet. Except there's loads of bad stuff, of course, but we can always look for the good stuff as well. So optimism for me would be what would define and create an incredible 2026.
I'm definitely positive as well in terms of my mindset. Do you find that sometimes being a man who does really strive for optimism, do people sometimes find it annoying that you're optimistic?
They can do. So for many years, people would say to me, Paul, we love your enthusiasm, but, just tone it down a bit. And for many years, I kind of listened to them. I thought, well, maybe I'm a bit too optimistic and a bit too enthusiastic, and maybe I do need to turn it down a bit. But actually what I felt then, what I realized pretty quickly was actually being enthusiastic and positive, no matter what the weather, actually turned into my superpower and allowed me to really create the life that I wanted to create. Now, it wasn't always rosy. I've had my fair share of challenges, and so have many people. But for sure, being enthusiastic and being optimistic has allowed me to travel a path and a journey that might be off the normal path, because I've not seen the downside of it. And so I've only looked for the good. Where for sure, I remember in a business that I was working in, that they nicknamed me Positive Paul. And so it was like, don't tell Positive Paul that it can't be done, because he'll find a way to make it can be done. Just tone it down for him. So yeah, the answer is for sure, I think some people like it, some people don't. And for years, I kind of toned it down, but actually, you know what? It is who I am. So lots of enthusiasm you'll always get from me.
Yeah, and I want to get into some of your challenges. Do you feel that the challenges you've been through are one of the reasons why you are optimistic? Is it because you feel like I could have lost my life, or life could have worked out very differently to the actual reality of my situation?
So I think that optimism came in from really a very young age. But actually, the challenges that I've been through, it's the optimism that has carried me through. Whether that be, picking a company up that's on its knees, that everyone thinks it can't be done, to actually finding a way to rebuild it, whether it be going through a health diagnosis of a blood cancer and emerging out of the other side in complete remission. What carried me through all of that was optimism, whether it be, as a child, and occasionally you might hear it now, I stammer a bit, right? And as a child, I stammered a lot. I could hardly put a sentence together. But then to go from a stammerer to being a speaker, it really is optimism that has carried me through. I looking for the good in any challenge, whatever comes into our life experience. Because the truth is, life is, a journey of peaks and troughs, right?
Yeah.
We have the peaks, and the peaks are amazing. And I don't know about you, but I know sometimes I've got to the top of a peak, or what I thought, I just need to get there and get to the top of this mountain, and then I'm going to feel amazing. And you kind of get there and you're like, is this all there is? Or it kind of only lasts for a few hours or a few days. And then after that, you're like, okay, what's next? You end up doing this whole striving thing. Yeah. And then, of course, with the peaks, what comes at the troughs, which is the challenges or the stressful bits of life, the things that none of us expect. We always say, I always remember watching a guy once say to an audience, who here likes surprises? And they all put their hands up, and he goes, bullshit. You only like the surprises you like. The other things you call problems, and then you get involved in them. And actually the truth is that problems are a gift, and we can grow from that. So I think the optimism came from a very young age in the fact that I just think, life is too short. Yeah. The challenges, for sure, have reinforced that belief, Well,
let's talk about one of your challenges. So you literally have spent time facing literal storms at sea.
Yeah.
How did those experiences really shape maybe today and some of the viewpoints that you have now, both personally and professionally?
Yeah, sure. So I spent about 25 years as a professional sailor. Now, what does that mean? It means that I was teaching people to sail, and then I became a private yacht skipper. And so I would then be literally charging around the world's oceans with lots of different people on board. Now, here's the thing about doing that type of work. It teaches you leadership in a way that I don't think anything else can, because at sea, there's no real margin for error. You've got to get it right, because you're in an environment that if you disrespect it, you can literally either injure yourself, injure the crew, lose the yacht, or God forbid, none of you come home, right? But what it does is, it cuts leadership back to the core. It strips everything away. And what I mean by that is that if you think about it, when you're a crew on a yacht, you're all aligned around a central goal, whatever that may be, right? Now, that's quite often, well, where are we actually going to sail to, right? So it could be, I don't know, I'm crossing an ocean, I'm sailing to Antigua, let's say, all right? So you're all around that goal. And then you've got to do the journey to get from wherever you are now, which would probably be the Canary Islands, to sail across the Atlantic and actually arrive safely on the other side. And the bit in between, you've all got to work together. So although you might all have different roles on board of the yacht, you're all striving towards the same thing. Now, here's the thing. What sailing really taught me, and doing work like that and leading in that environment, is it taught me to be a practical psychologist, meaning that I could read people within a few moments. I'd have a good idea. I'd kind of be able to predict where they would go. And keeping a happy ship, even on a luxury yacht, you'd think, you're at sea, you're on a 100-foot yacht, you've got plasma screens everywhere, there's air conditioning, you can download the world in, so you do whatever you want. But people still do their patterns, and at times, it can get quite tense on board. If you've seen an episode of Below Deck, although that's dramatized for sure, there are times it is like that. It is intense. But what that does is it teaches you some really core things that I think are so important to understand. And that is that, and this is really what helped me cross into the business world as well, is that, I learned that how I showed up made all the difference. So in the moment, if I was intense or fearful, that just spread throughout the crew. So when there was a big maneuver to do at sea, let's say in stormy weather, you can't see the front of the boat. The wind is howling. The waves are everywhere. You literally cannot speak across because the wind just takes away your voice. You've got to be able to communicate with clarity, but you've also got to trust each other as well. And it strips away all of the bullshit, meaning all the agendas, all the hidden stuff that goes on. And when I crossed the world, into the business world, or made that transition across, and I realized that actually the skills that I was using at sea would be exactly the same skills that I would need in the business world. The difference is, in the business world, we tend to go home in the evening and all the politics and the hidden agendas are there and all of those things. That just makes for a bit more of an interesting piece. But quite often what I would find is that if a company was struggling to grow or had alignment issues amongst the team, or they were stuck in some way, so generally the symptom was the team is not performing. And quite often, always, it's not about that. That's just the symptom. Actually, when you cut to the core of it, what the team were missing was clarity, as in, where are we trying to go? And then B, was the alignment amongst the team, i.e. that everybody was pulling all of the same way, and not all of those little agendas pulling off slightly differently, or the gossip or all the other stuff. And so sailing taught me to cut through all of that BS and get to the truth. And actually then help people align and actually get them to wherever they want to go.
Yeah. Reminds me of attitude reflects leadership. It's the tone.
Yeah.
It's the beat of the drum that you create that then has an impact on it.
And kind of realizing that leadership starts inside first. It's how we show up. It's quite often like a business owner might say to me, Paul, my team are not performing. My first question is, well, are you performing? And quite often I've thought, of course I'm performing. I've created this amazing thing. I've done an incredible thing. But I know that actually our team is only a reflection of ourselves. And so if we show up in basically a shitty emotional state, guess what? Our team reflect back being in a shitty emotional state. Whereas if we show up at our best, in a genuine place full of optimism and enthusiasm and all of that stuff, then guess what? We give our team the permission to reflect that back. And then together we all grow as one cohesive team, as it were. And I think that's what people are missing now. The power of that.
Have you ever read the book The Crossing?
I haven't, no.
With James Cracknell and Ben Fogle.
Okay.
When they had to row across the Atlantic.
Okay, I certainly know the event because I've met loads of the rowers as they've arrived in Antigua.
It's funny because people ask me all the time, like, Mark, what's been your most memorable book? And because, most people will say, like, Think and Grow Rich or whatever.
Yeah.
But for me, it was The Crossing. This book, I couldn't put it down. It's the first book, 'cause I'm dyslexic.
Okay.
So I'd never enjoyed really reading. It was always something that would be work for me.
Yeah.
But this one book I couldn't put down, and because it's all related to being at sea, I thought you might have read that. And if you haven't, you need to read it.
I need to read that book.
So good.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you another great book to read is a book called Close to the Wind by Pete Goss.
Okay.
That's an amazing book of just a hero's story at sea, of where he turned around on Christmas Day in the Southern Ocean on his own to sail upwind into a mega storm and rescue a French guy that was sinking on his catamaran and throw the race away. It was amazing. But just going through the kind of resilience and mental mindset to actually get back upwind and actually get back to that person is incredible.
Yeah.
But the rowers are nuts. Like I've always said, like, guys, they invented sails for a reason, and they're all like, oh, well, whatever, But
I am the sail.
Yeah, exactly.
Funny. So you've been circumnavigating the globe with somebody like Eddie Jordan.
Yeah.
On the Oyster 885.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds
Lush.
incredible on its own. Can you share a moment that really tested your leadership on that? And before you do, I know Eddie Jordan's a big Coventry City fan like myself.
Oh, is he? Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
So when I saw, you've worked with and know Eddie Jordan, I thought, well, there's a tale.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's so many moments with Eddie. He was a force for good. God rest his soul now, of course, One moment, where the challenge was on. I mean, there's so many. Let me think of one. I think one with Eddie would be, I remember saying to Eddie, so Eddie, how did you get through it in Jordan Grand Prix where it was really tough and you kind of didn't know whether or not you could keep the lights on and all of that? What was your psychology? So I'm really interested in how do these entrepreneurs move forward when everything is stacked up against them? What was really interesting was it kind of confirmed everything that I'd learned about managing one's emotional state, right? Okay, which is focus, inner dialogue, meaning the voice in our head or the imposter or the chimp or whatever the latest craze we want to call it, right? It's basically how we talk to ourselves. Or the third thing then is how we move ourselves. So emotion comes from motion, right? Take the E off M, you've got motion. And Eddie said to me, he said, number one is he said that one thing I always said is that unless I believe in me, no one else is going to do that. So he said, at times I didn't believe in me, but then when I got 100% belief in me, meaning that I was going to back myself no matter what. So I would show up early. I'd be the last one to leave, that I would know that I would find a way. And so that was a belief. One is to back yourself. Two was there's always a way. And so Eddie, once he set his outcome, or once he decided, and let's just put it into plain language as opposed to personal development speak, which is outcome and goals and SMART goals and all this stuff, right? Once he decided what he wanted, he would just find a way to get there. And he didn't, and what he would do is he'd try a way, and if it didn't work out, guess what he'd do? He'd go back, think, pause, and reflect, maybe come back with a different angle and a different angle and a different angle. And he got to the point where he would pretty much get whatever he wanted to create. Now, he didn't always win, but he loved the journey and he loved learning. And so having that kind of resilience that he would say, so his focus was always on where am I trying to get to? And he wouldn't let his focus switch all over the place. Okay, so he'd keep that in mind. This is where I'm trying to get to. Second thing is that his inner dialogue was he just used to say to himself, keep attacking. Keep attacking, keep attacking. Now, some people might find that a bit aggressive. Some people might want to keep going, keep whatever, but the point is that no one beats ourselves up like ourselves, right? No one talks to ourselves harshly more than ourselves. If we really choose to admit it and cut the crap and cut the BS. So actually making sure that inner voice is really supporting you or us is a really important thing to do. And I've worked on that over the years, making sure that my inner coach is coaching me and not letting the inner critic criticize me and shrink and go small. It's easy to do that, right? And all of us have that. And it's a dance we have to go through life with, because that little voice is always going to be there. It's always going to be there going, hey, who do you think you are? You sure you can do this? And we've got to learn how to just manage that and dance with it and learn from it. Then the third thing as well is then, you would always say fit body, fit mind, fit outcome, It's absolutely right. Just looking after ourselves, and I think all of those three at times that, I've stumbled on all of those three. I think self-mastery takes time, right? So I think that's one thing from Eddie. There's countless stories, but I think, just how he would find a way, really think about his inner dialogue, and then make sure he was fit effectively. And he was full of energy, leaps of energy and abounds. From a challenging point of view, I think keeping the crew on side when you are running a yacht like that, because in the super yachting world, it's all about the owners and their dreams. It's not your dream, although it might look sexy from the outside. And believe me, it is. There's loads of sexy times. You're gallivanting around the world's oceans on these beautiful multi-million quid yachts, and you're in some barts and you're drinking the best champagne. You're doing all of this stuff. But the reality is this is somebody else's dream. And so aligning the crew around, actually, is this giving the owners the best experience that they want? That can be tough sometimes because we all flip into ourselves. And so keeping a happy team on board, even a luxury boat, that is probably the biggest challenge. The actual technical sailing bit, all of that, as long as you respect the yacht, you're okay. And, you obviously look at the weather and all of those things. But the biggest challenge, I think, from all of that was, and I think that's probably my biggest superpower, being able to manage my emotional state, meaning I choose how I show up. It's not bullshit. I just make a different decision. I say, rather than the outside world dictating how I'm feeling inside, I kind of do it the other way around and say, well, actually, how I think determines how I feel. How I feel determines what I do. And what I do will determine what I create. Might not always get what I want, but that's for sure the cycle that runs. And I'm sure, and you may well have been there, Mark, but, I've certainly been there loads of times where, there's so many things we should do, right? I should do this, should do that, should do that. And then, as Tony Robbins says, we should all over ourselves. Whereas actually, it's kind of like understanding that actually, well, why don't, if we know, I should go to the gym, but then normally the little voice goes, I don't know about you, but I just don't feel like going to the gym.
Girls like dad bods.
Yeah. Girls like that. Oh, great for it. All these get out clauses. Exactly. But actually, what I've learned to do is go, okay, well, why don't I feel like that? Back it up, and let's back it up into the thinking to understand what's going on in my unconscious mind to really move forward. And I think, that bit of self-mastery and the commitment to that has guided me through. And somewhere in that, at some point, I'm going to discover where that decision was to be enthusiastic and optimistic, whatever life brings in, you know? Because I believe whatever comes into your life, both good, negative, or mediocre, there's always a gift in it if we look for it.
Yeah.
A gift to grow, learn, be more, become more.
Yeah.
What can we all learn? Like, we're all on this planet for such a short period of time, such a short period of time. And, it can be so easy, especially in today's world with all the social media and all the other stuff that's kind of conditioning us to strive, to achieve, be this, become this. And we forget to live in the present moment and enjoy some of the most beautiful moments of life, which could just be looking into your loved one's eyes. It could be looking into your kids' eyes. It could just being present in the moment and really feeling alive, or taking that sunset in, or, because again, I mean, another thing that Tony says is that success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. How true is that? And I think there's so many people, they get to this point that they're, I'm going to do this, I'm going to create this, and then I'm going to feel great. And they get there and then it kind of wears off and they're like, oh shit, this isn't what it was meant to be.
Yeah.
And I think enjoying that journey piece along the way, looking for the gift and accepting whatever path is put in front of us and learning from it and moving and growing and expanding from it is a good thing for us all to do.
It is. I think that, January 1st, I lost my longest serving client to cancer. She battled for 5
sorry to hear
years.
that, Mark.
And, when we talk about living with purpose and intent,
Yeah.
I think it's so, so true. And I think we all have a choice every day of how we show up.
100%.
And this is really what you're getting at, isn't it? It's you make a commitment to live intentionally, to be bigger than the problems that, we may face. But how true it is that we all have been given this life and we all get to decide how we show up in it.
Yeah. And, kind of on that piece, I always talk about the leadership. I think the best leaders in the world is basically a lighthouse. Oh, holy shit, another metaphor, right? But it's a really good metaphor. So stick with me on this one, right? Yeah. I've spent years at sea where I kind of look, out there on a dark and stormy night, right? And you can't see anything, but you can see this one light. And that one light just guides you either safely in or wards you off the danger. And I think the point there is that light is really our inner light as a leader. And actually, if you think about a lighthouse's job, what's it to do? It's to stand there no matter what the weather. It's going to see beautiful sunrises, beautiful sunsets, beautiful calm days at sea. But it's also going to take a load of weather and fog and all the rubbish stuff. But stand there and not move and be present and just keep shining that light out to sea. And I think what I'm getting at with this piece is that no matter what the weather is, we're all going to have the off days, right? We're all going to have the off moments. What I've learned to do is, rather than going, oh, well, I'll feel better tomorrow. What if I'm not around in the morning? Well, actually, why don't we actually make the conscious choice to flick ourselves out of a disempowering state and put ourselves into an empowering state, and actually realize that we can do that at a moment's notice. And when anybody ever doubts that, I always go back to thinking of Peter Kay, right? He's a northern lad here, so you'll get this, right? Okay, is that I always found it. There's a bit in one of his shows years ago where he talks about, we've all been there at a wedding where we're like, I'm not dancing, I'm not doing anything, I can't be bothered going, but then that song comes on. And before you know it, the tie's off, you're doing the walk into the dance floor dance, and you're suddenly off. And all the song is really a trigger. And actually, one of the things that I get some of the clients to do is say, pick your team's song, pick your song. What is the song that before you even walk into the office first thing in the morning, that you can just play it loud, wind it up, sing like a madman, and actually just use that as the trigger to put us into a great space. And also, as well, even when, we go through those dips within the day, put the song back on, trigger ourselves back into a great place. Athletes know this. If you look at a tennis player, how many times do they bounce the ball? That's just the trigger before they take the serve. The football team has the pep talk. They do the thing. They do the ritual. It's just a ritual. And I think, one thing that is so clear about whether it's entrepreneurs that I've sailed with or people I've met along the way is it's not to say they don't have off days. Of course they do, but they've learned not to hang around there, and they've learned to flick themselves into a more empowered state. And that's where high performance comes from. Being able to just have that self-mastery inside.
What would your song be, Paul?
What am my song be?
What's your song?
Oh, We Will Rock You.
Oh, Queen.
Yeah.
One of my favourite bands ever.
You do that and I dare people not suddenly start doing this or stamping the feet or whatever it may be. But a beautiful piece of music is great because what it does is it guides your focus, changes it silent, it quiets down the inner voice. And guess what? If you start to move with it, you start to feel the emotion in it, then it invokes all of these different beautiful parts of us, which I believe we can learn from, So I think that is the piece there as well. And, it can be so simple and people can go, oh my God, surely leadership is more than just listening to a great song. Why does it need to be any more than that?
Yeah.
Just showing up in a great state, showing up from a state where you're not just in a great state inside, but actually you're showing up for your team. Meaning you're showing up to say, what do you need to thrive, succeed, and be more? What do you want? How can we unlock you too? And come from a genuine place on that.
Yeah.
And not come from like a fearful place. I'm trying to get all of this stuff out of you.
Yeah.
Just come from a place of how can I help you guys grow?
Yeah.
When we create that vibe, it's amazing what happens with teams.
Song that comes to mind for me is the Who Are You song. Who are you? Who? Because I think that's all about that self-awareness.
Yeah, completely.
Isn't it?
Yeah, completely. There's so many. The
loads.
Disney songs are great. In fact, if you watch a Disney movie...
You've lost me now, Paul.
Oh, yeah, well, no, some of them. Well,
Let it go.
Yeah. Well, there's a good message in that song, right?
Well, of course.
Although it might not resonate with you, but if we put a new soundtrack to it, maybe it might work. Who knows? Yeah.
It reminds me, actually, one of my favourite radio interviews that I did once is that I had a lady on. She was a singer. So for 5 minutes, Paul, we sang in our questions and answers.
Love it.
Oh, it was so radical.
I love it.
Just reminded me then for a moment. Oh, good times. Now, you've developed the SHINE method and breakthrough model.
Yeah.
How can leaders apply them immediately to create high-performing outcomes?
Yeah, okay, great question. And then so SHINE really comes from, and it's a book that I'm writing at the moment, right? SHINE, which is a manual to navigate life's curveballs and change. Still working on the title, but SHINE will be the thing because that's the framework. SHINE comes from the Lighthouse, meaning shine, choose to shine. We can choose to shine in any moment and it is a choice. So like any good framework, guess what? SHINE stands for certain things. And so what does S stand for? Spirit, meaning who are you really? Many people get caught with what they do is who they are. And that's just not true. When we meet somebody at pod, well, what do you do? I'm an accountant. I'm a professional sailor. That's actually not who we are. We're so much more than that. And, not to impress any spiritual beliefs on anybody, but, there must be more to life than maybe what we can see. That's what I believe anyway. And so, therefore, I think leaning into our own spirit, our inner spirit, the divine, whatever you want to call it, I think is a really important thing because it's one thing that human beings thrive off, and that is purpose and meaning, understanding, well, what am I actually on this planet for? The chances of us being alive right now, you and I, is something ridiculous, like 1 in 400 trillion or something. To think we're sitting on this tiny little rock somewhere in this massive, like, what the hell is it all about? We're not going to answer that now. But the point is leaning into our inner self and our spirit and really showing up as our best self. And so that's spirit, right? And then so leaning into ourselves. H stands for horizon. So what's on your visible horizon? Meaning what's your vision? What's over the horizon? What's between you and the horizon? Or what might be standing in your way? Setting that clear vision. Now, we've all talked about that, right? The destination, so important because unless we know what we're heading for, then how on earth would we set the course? Could you imagine getting on an airplane, the pilot going, well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board flight 5. We've no idea where we're going, but just sit there and hopefully we've got enough fuel to arrive there. We'd all be like, Jesus, get me off the plane. Yeah. So we need a destination. And the clearer we can make that vision or create the horizon, that actually we're going for, the better for us. So that's important for leaders, because your team needs to know where you're going. They need to. And the best way to check that is one of the things I'll always do when I go in and speak to a team for the first time. I say, right, so guys, tell me, what is the vision? What is the goal? And normally there's a nice long tumbleweed moment, because the guys don't really know. And oh, well, I think we're doing this, or we're targeting this revenue, or we're doing whatever. So creating that is important, and making sure we communicate that with our team. So that's the horizon piece. I stands for identity. Every lighthouse has a signature, right? So those are the I am beliefs. So who are you really? You choose to, when you show up as a leader, take charge, be in the lead. We've got to lead. We've got to go there first. And if you think about it, the very role of a leader, if we cut it back, it's to influence the thoughts, feelings, and behavior of other human beings. That's what we're trying to do, right? It coming from a great place, coming from a pure and authentic place, not a manipulative place. And so really knowing who you are and being comfortable with who you are. So that's the identity piece. N stands for navigate, meaning that for us to navigate from A to B, first of all, we need to know where we want to go. We've talked about that, but also we need to know where we are. We can't bullshit ourselves to say, oh, well, we're not, well, we think we're in here. Again, if you got on the plane in Heathrow and they go, right, welcome to Cape Town here. We're now going to fly to New York. We know the plane's not going to get there because the guy doesn't know where he is. Or girl, of course, in this diverse society that we live in, is so, understanding what are the tools you need to navigate from A to B, wherever B is for you. And then E is what underpins it all, energy. A lighthouse is useless unless the lamp has energy put into it so it lights up. Now that light is you, meaning you as a leader. Light up the freaking room, imagine now if I was sitting here going, I have to try and calm myself down now. Oh, Mark.
You're up, Paul.
Well, I'm going to, over the next...
Have you had a spliff?
72 hours. If I laugh, you'll know I've had one in my life, so I can't laugh. Over the next 72 hours, we're going to share some things that are really going to change your life forever. It's not going to work, right?
You should be in hypnotherapy.
You should be in hypnotherapy. Yeah, exactly. No, it's right. You're under. Yeah, it's kind of like, so, the point is, and understanding that energy is generated. The power station doesn't have energy, it's generated. And so really then, showing up with energy, and I always say is where do you consistently live on the energy rich scale? 0 being you may as well be underground. 10 being you're unstoppable, you're on fire, you are going to find a way. Where do you consistently live? And actually asking yourself and being really honest with that. Say, well, consistently, maybe I'm a 7 or an 8, or maybe I'm lower. And I think that's important because, as we'd always say, you wouldn't want to date a 3 or a 4, would you? No way. Or spend time with somebody that's low energy.
Swiping left.
Would be swipe left, whatever that is. Yeah, exactly. You'd just be like, no, move on. What's the phrase they say that people are either a radiator or a energy vampire. They suck the life out of you, right?
Yeah.
So I think, making that conscious choice as a leader, if you show up energy rich, if you do nothing else, and show up energy rich. The transformations I've seen in teams, companies is extraordinary.
Yeah.
But the only thing we've changed is working with the leadership to show up energy rich. That's it. That's all we've done. And actually they were like, and I can remember a guy who was, he's a dentist. He heard me speak in Hawaii. I then saw him 3 months later in a mastermind group in the States. And he goes, and just before I went on, he said, oh, Paul, good. See, I saw you speak in Hawaii. I was like, oh, cool. Did you get a lot out of it? And he goes, well, honestly, he said, in the beginning, I thought it was total bullshit. He said, how can energy just be that's it, that all I've got to do is show up in a better state and that's it? How can that just be it? And I said, well, what happened? He goes, well, he said, you know what? He said, out of all the stuff he said, I thought, I'm just going to do that. I'm going to show up with my team on Monday morning. I'm going to put on the song that I love to sing and I'm going to be in a great state. I said, well, what happened? He goes, I don't know how the door stayed on its hinges as I walked in. But he said, I walked in and my team looked at me and they were just like, oh my God, we're going to have to call the psychotherapist here or something. He's on drugs. He's been drinking the Kool-Aid. He's whatever he's done. We need to cool this guy down. I said, so what happened? He goes, I stayed there. I didn't drop myself down. I said, what happened then? He said, a few days passed and they still thought I was completely nuts. I said, so what happened? He goes, well, I stayed being there. He said, but on day 4, he said, I walked in and they were smiling just that bit more. He said, then they were cracking jokes, all of us, our whole team. We were cracking jokes. I said, and then what happened? He goes, well, by day 6, so by the next week, the patients were feeling it. The patients were arriving into my surgery saying, God, your team are just on fire. I don't know what you've done with them. And then I said, so then what happened? He goes, well, we've just kept doing it. And now we bounce off each other and we're all having a great time. And I said, so what's the net result? And he goes, well, the net result is I'm happier. My team are happier. And we've grown the business by 38% without doing anything different in 3 months.
Wow.
I was like, wow. I said, will you do me a favor? He goes, sure. I said, just before I stand up in front of this group of 150 people, can you share that story? Which he did. And it was brilliant because it just allowed him to realize, actually, it can be that simple. Leadership can be that easy when we don't overcomplicate things, keep it simple, and just show up energy rich.
Amazing. We've only got like a minute left.
A minute?
Paul, pretty much.
Okay.
I would love for you to maybe share, if someone's watching or listening,
Yeah.
and they want to become stronger and more effective in their leadership and as a leader, what would you say should be the first step?
So I think the first step is you got to define where you are right now and be really honest with that. So be able to look in the mirror and go, okay, number one, what do I want? Make that super clear. So I want to be a better leader. Well, what does that look like? What does a great leader look like for me? And then you've got to ask the age-old Simon Sinek question, which is why? Why do you want that? That's a really important piece because that why is going to drive us through, right? We've all learned that over the years through personal development, been fired at us all over the world, yeah? So, why do you want that? And then it's really that commitment to make it happen because the truth is what really shapes where we're going to go is the decision to alter course. And, a decision to maybe just show up energy rich in the moment might only be like a little 1 degree shift of course. You take that out a week, it's nothing, but 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, 5 years, it's a completely different place that you're going to arrive. And so the ability, I think, number one, if you want to be a better leader, first of all, decide. Now I'm talking a real decision, and a real decision means you cut off from any other possibility. It's not that, I'm going to try it. And then as soon as it doesn't work out, I'm out of here. So it's make the decision, go for it. And you know what? Believe in yourself. Believe that you can do it. Back yourself and own whatever journey you're on or have been on. All of that stuff is so valuable. As Oscar Wilde said, you don't need to be anybody else because everybody else has been taken, right? Yeah. Just be yourself.
Beautiful. Paul, how do people find out more about you and your company?
Sure. So just go to pauladamson.com or you can follow me on LinkedIn on URL check, linkedin.com/Paul Adamson, I believe.
It is. It's true.
Yeah.
They've made it simple.
Yeah.
Paul, it's been great to have you on today's Brainz podcast.
Oh, it's been brilliant. Thanks so much for having me on the show.